Former President Jacob Zuma made a surprise visit to the Umkhonto we Sizwe MK Party event in Verulam, north of Durban, on Tuesday. The MK Party meeting held at Mzo Lifestyle was attended by hundreds of supporters despite the heavy Boxing Day downpour in Durban. The former ANC president addressed supporters, again reiterating he would not vote for the governing party under President Cyril Ramaphosa's leadership come the 2024 national and provincial elections. Instead, Zuma said he would cast his vote for the new MK party. Zuma also promised a zero-tolerance policy on corruption in the MK party and vowed that all its members would remain disciplined in the face of corruption. Zuma told supporters that he warned politicians who think they know politics and were insulting the MK party to zip it before he revealed uncomfortable truths about them. And to talk to us about this is our very special guest, as I said, Professor Breakfast. Good morning and welcome to the program, Professor Breakfast.
Thank you very much for having me.
It is our pleasure. We are very grateful that you've made time during this holiday season for us. Firstly, can you tell us about the MK Party?
First of all, I think from my standpoint, there is no political party on a global scale that would allow its members to have a duality or a binary, whereby you wear two caps. On the one hand, you belong to this party. On the other hand, you are encouraging people not to vote for your own party. That is a sharp contradiction.
Yes.
So the MK movement, so to speak, is a breakaway of because let's face it. When Umkhonto we Sizwe was established, I think in 1961, if I'm not mistaken, it was a wing of the ANC that was meant to engage in some military operations. So it is a trademark of the ANC. But what has happened is that there have been some, it's quite clear that Msholozi is holding a grudge against the leadership of, whether he's right or wrong, that's not the issue. Mm-hmm. If also you had listened to the speech that was read by his daughter, putting forward some arguments that people are being purged, that the current leadership is taking decisions on top, bringing them down to the bottom. But the precursor of that, if you remember, was the letter that he penned in 2020, where he took a swipe at the leadership that they had kept him at bay. And also one of the things that featured prominently in that speech that he made was the fact that President Ramaphosa did not win in a way that is fair and square in 2007. So that is the background to the story. But I think also the ANC made a fundamental error by approaching him, because it stood to reason, because of his bitterness, that if they had approached him, he was going to let them down by using the platform to respond, to take a swipe at them. And that is exactly what is done now. I think the question that maybe people are grappling with is, what is the meaning of this? It means whether we like it or not, he is popular in KZN. There have been many scientific findings that have been unveiled indicating that he's more popular than the current president of the ANC, meaning that this breakaway, it will hurt the electoral performance of the ANC, and it will have a negative spillover effect to the country. So I can bet my bottom dollar the ANC will not bounce back to KZN.
Yes, I find quite interesting that Umkhonto we Sizwe, that particular wing has in fact formed a party. So I'm glad you clarified that for us. And I was going to say that that's quite a strong statement when he says that he publicly endorsed the MK party and said his conscience would not allow him to vote for the ANC or Ramaphosa. And then he goes on further to say, I cannot and will not campaign for the ANC of Ramaphosa. So is it the ANC or is it Ramaphosa that he's taking a swipe at?
Interestingly, if you Google some of his prominent speeches, he's on record, I think in the build-up to 2014, having said in public that if people have issues with ANC leaders, they mustn't punish the ANC. That was when he held the position of the president of the ANC. But now that he's no longer holding that position, he speaks a different language.
Mm-hmm.
During the time, he used to say that, no, don't vote against the ANC because of leaders of the ANC. The most important thing is the ANC because leaders come and go. But now he says, no, don't vote for the ANC because of its leaders. I'm not sure if you follow what I'm saying. But I think the latest developments have showcased that he's still bitter. He holds a grudge. He thinks that I think he went to prison because of the current president, the current leadership. Now, the challenge is that the ANC is stuck between the rock and the hard place because on the one hand, the question is, what do you do with the member that does this? You suspend that person. It's as simple as that. But now they cannot do that because by so doing, they will play into his hands. That is exactly what he wants to do, so that he can confirm what he's been saying, that they cannot stand, criticism and so. But on the other hand, if you don't discipline, then you're conveying a message that there are people who are untouchable. So it's really a very complex matter.
It is indeed, because he also clarified that he was not leaving the ANC but would vote for the MK party, citing his predecessor as an agent of white capital who has declared war on black progressives and professionals. That's quote unquote from a tweet from Dudu Sambudla.
That line of thinking comes from the argument that had it not been for the market forces, President Ramaphosa in 2017 would never have won. So that comes from that point of view that the market forces are the ones who enabled Ramaphosa to ascend to power. But he has not let go of that. But yeah, the ANC. I think last time, on a lighter note, when you spoke, we didn't speak the same language, you and me, because you said that no, the ANC will not 50% to constitute government, and I said no, there are many possibilities. But now I think I agree with you. I can bet my bottom dollar on a large scale nationally they will not come back again. It's quite clear because there have been many developments that have hurt the party. The issue of Simang, even though he came back, but still it has created a negative perception to the voters. Yeah, the issue of power outage, yes, it has been put on hold for political reasons, but there are many problems that have compounded the image of the ANC.
And this again points to or speaks to the internal conflicts within the ANC, which then puts voters on a very shaky ground.
Yes, of course. Because now this posture of Msholos has escalated, as you indicated, the magnitude of conflict within the ANC. And I must say, I think the new leadership, they've tried, not successfully, they are also factional sometimes, but they've tried to sort of preach this, I would say, message of renewal, blah, blah, blah. But how do you preach now renewal when you're the person who is disrespectful to the party? You are forced to act, but when you act, some people might fight with that person. It will hurt the party more. It's a mess.
Yeah, indeed. All right. After the break, we come back with our very special guest. That is Professor Breakfast.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nanny. Now I'm using Tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like Tib black seed. You can find Tib black seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Albait has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaitlodge.co.za.
Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
Ah, the kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, now we cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
Conveniently located along the banks of the Crocodile River bordering the Kruger National Park, as a guest at Buckler's Africa Lodge, one can enjoy an amazing sunrise or sunset on our spacious deck area while you catch a glimpse of some wildlife sightings along the Crocodile River. The sounds of the African savannah will greet you whilst you enjoy your morning coffee. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Buckler's Africa Lodge is ideally situated only 6 kilometers from the Crocodile Bridge Gate in the Kruger National Park. Catering for all travelers with variety, we have 4 types of the finest rooms: superior rooms, deluxe suites, and 2-bedroomed family units. Each room is equipped with the finest amenities to make your stay unforgettable. Guests can choose between the self-catering option or book their accommodation with breakfast and dinner included. Buckler's Africa Lodge is your ideal location for the ultimate Kruger getaway experience. We specialize in exhilarating and educational game drives in Kruger, tailor-made to suit your family. Inquire about our various accommodation offerings and other activities. Visit www.tingana.co.za for more information. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Experience the pulse of Africa with us.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
South Africans are becoming more and more eager, I think, to vote in next year's elections. But what becomes more and more interesting for us as voters is the tug of war is just unbelievable at this point when we hear of these, new statements being made, or statements that are now coming out, not that they are new. And to talk about this with us is Professor Breakfast. He is a political analyst. Professor Breakfast, here's another very interesting statement by Zuma. He says he told supporters that he warned politicians who think they know politics and were insulting the MK party to zip it before he revealed uncomfortable truths about them. Let's look at that last statement, before he revealed uncomfortable truths about them. This again speaks to what, Professor Breakfast?
But he's been saying since time immemorial. Remember when the allegations against him broke in public, regarding, I think, Tint and himself about the arms deal. He said that at some point he was going to spill the beans, but he has not laid bare those facts. So that's his line of thinking. He likes to threaten the public about letting go of confidential information. I don't believe him on that score, because it's not the first time he's made that statement. And also, as a person who likes to talk about party discipline, someone who projects himself as having an in-depth understanding about the party, if you unveil confidential information about the party, does that not constitute ill discipline?
And I think also pointing in the direction of corruption, and warning against it, and saying that there's be strict, there's going to be strict control within the MK party around corruption. This, I think, most South Africans are not going to take lightly, coming from former President Zuma.
Yes, of course. I mean, I think, I mean, he has been seen in some quarters, not by all and sundry, not to have managed the state. I mean, the Zondo Commission was instituted against the background of mismanagement of the country under his stewardship. And I mean, the fact that he walked away while the commission was in motion, which is a bad example, and did not abide by the findings of the Constitutional Court. That is not exemplary, So I agree with you that some people, I think, they don't look up to him. I'm not saying everyone thinks like that, but some people don't look up to him, because I mean, if you disregard the ruling of the Constitutional Court, it means that you have no respect for the law, you have no respect for the Constitution.
Indeed. And how has the ANC responded to this?
I think the ANC has been in pain. They know what is at stake. I think you guys, you try to pose some questions to President Ramaphosa, but I think he has been the difference between President Ramaphosa and Balula is that Balula he's got a sharp tongue, but President Ramaphosa is more of a diplomat. So I think they've been, trying to manage the situation in a way that doesn't escalate the tensions within the party.
How would you advise voters on, not that you should be campaigning for any party, but how do we become a bit more discerning? Because there's going to be a lot of this coming out before the elections.
Election is one of the hallmarks of democracy. It is a very essential ingredient of I'm not saying that democracy is confined to election. Yes, it's more than that. But it's an important build up to democratic consolidation. The challenge is that people who are discouraged, even if they don't vote, someone is going to vote for you and give you a government that maybe you don't want. You see, so you might as well vote. Voting is extremely important. Also, it's a form of public participation. One of the reasons why corruption tends to thrive is because of the withdrawal of the public. So voting is a control measure over our leaders.
Absolutely.
So I would encourage you to they must vote regardless who they vote for. But voting is of paramount importance.
Right. And in your experience, have you found that, at any point during our democracy in South Africa, that you've been hesitant? That's a personal question on who to vote for.
No. Of course not. I mean, it has never occurred to me that I've been forced to vote for a particular party. Some people say we will never know whether we have a democracy or not until the losers accept that they've lost, because he has been in power since 1994. So the biggest question is, if they lose power, will they let go of? I think that's when I think the test of our democracy will be, whether they will let go on a large scale. So it's going to be interesting how these political phenomena will play themselves out.
Thank you very much, Professor Ntsikeleo Breakfast. All the best to you too, and all the best for the new year and the festive season. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you.
When we come back, we speak to Hafiz Idris, who is the chairman of the African Immigration.